The November 2025 statewide special election on Governor Gavin Newsom's corrupt redistricting scheme is already just hours underway, and we already have alarming polling that shows Republicans are in trouble in this fight. But don't lose hope. We can still win. Coming up, I'll tell you all about the polling, where we start, and where we can get to with your help in an aggressive grassroots campaign. Let's save democracy in California and win a victory for fair elections by voting no on Prop 50, and you can help make it happen. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California and a California state representative. Well, this week, as expected, the state politicians in the state legislature, they rubber stamped Gavin Newsom's corrupt redistricting scheme to seize power from the citizens and give it back to the state politicians, just like they've always wanted. They say it's all about standing up to Trump, but in fact, it really is about their political ambitions and partisan advantage. We're going to get into the polling, which the first polling is out, and it is alarming, but I don't want you to freak out, because there are a number of reasons why this polling is to be expected. And I actually believe with an aggressive ground campaign, a grassroots campaign, that these numbers can be converted into a victory for democracy to reject Prop 50. Okay, so we're going to get into all of that, but I need to get you involved in this campaign. Before we get to the polling, go to the website, DefendFairlectionsorg, DefendFairlectionsorg. It will take you to our campaign website for no on Prop 50, Defend Fair Elections. And on that site, there's all sorts of message points that I want you to make yourself familiar with. The 7 reasons to vote no on Prop 50. And at the bottom of that site, there is an opportunity to contribute. First and foremost, the button's at the bottom of the message points. It's also at the top right. Contribute whatever you can. Chip in a contribution. We start with virtually no resources for this fight, and we've got to raise a bunch in the next 6 weeks before ballots are mailed out on October 1st. So we have 6 weeks to raise resources to at least cover the basic costs of a statewide campaign. We need every dollar. $5 is all it takes to start us up. But if you can give more, please do. At the bottom of that website, if you're not already signed up with Reform California on our list, please sign up. It is free, and we just give you the information that you don't get from the liberal media. So this is important. It's like getting a free subscription to an actual real newspaper with unbiased coverage of California news and politics. We give you 1 newsletter a week. Please sign up at the bottom of the website, first name, last name, email, phone, and zip code. We'll also send you notifications on what's going on our various campaigns and when we're in your area for rallies and other events that you can attend and get involved in. Please sign up at the website. Please chip in, DefendFairlections.org. Okay, so Gavin Newsom yesterday signed the bill that calls the special election for this November 4th. So November 4th, 2025 is the election, but ballots arrive 30 days prior. So about October 2, 3, 4, ballots will arrive in mailboxes. People will start voting. So our campaign needs to get ready between now and October 1st, and then October 1st through November 4th, we are out there just dragging the no vote out from the polls, to the polls. We've got to find every Republican and educate them as to what's really happening. Every independent we can, and persuade them. And even, yes, we're going to talk to Democrats and explain, look, you may not like Trump, but this is what the politicians are trying to manipulate you with. They're trying to use your hatred for Trump to try to get you to vote back the power to them to be able to manipulate lines and engage in gerrymandering. Those message points are so crucial that we talk to Democrats and make them realize that this is not a vote against Trump. It's a vote against democracy. It's a vote against them. It's a vote against fairness. And those message points will convince a chunk of those Democrats to come our way. The challenges are twofold. Number one, we start out in a blue state with Newsom and the liberal media trying to make this a Trump versus Republican Trump versus California question. And if we allow the Prop 50 debate to remain Trump versus California, we likely lose. And the polling numbers I'm sharing right now illustrate that. The second problem we're going to have is a false and misleading ballot title. They're going to suggest that Prop 50 is temporary and that it retains the Citizen Independent Redistricting Commission, and that it's about defending democracy and establishing a national policy for independent citizen redistricting. Now, mind you, Prop 50 eviscerates the Independent Citizen Redistricting Commission. It nullifies it. It transfers the power back to the politicians. That's all that Prop 50 does. It doesn't do anything else. It doesn't retain. It just transfers the power back to the politicians. They'll say, oh, well, we'll give the power back. The politicians will never give the power back once they have it. They will follow up with another misleading title on another misleading ballot measure to ensure that nothing ever happens by a citizen commission again in the state of California. Mark my words. It's like the same way they say that there's a, quote, temporary tax. So the two things we're up against: the starting point in the polling, and number two, a false and misleading ballot title. Here's the polling. LA Times has the Institute for Government Studies at Berkeley poll. Now, it's a somewhat left-leaning poll, but it tends to be directionally correct. And that's why I am okay sharing it with you, because I think these numbers are correct in terms of where we start, by and large. I don't think they're as bad as are suggested. So anyway, it starts out with 46% saying it's a good idea, 36% saying it's a bad idea. And so what is the question? Should we temporarily change the state's congressional district boundary lines ahead of next year's midterm elections to counter what Texas is doing? And ultimately, serve as a check on Trump. 46% say, yeah, that's a good idea. 36% say, bad idea. Now, it doesn't say that the politicians are doing it. See that? It just simply says, should we change them? Now, the assumption might be that, the Independent Citizen Redistricting Commission that we voted in 2010 overwhelmingly and that we all support, they're going to do the line drawing, right? No, it's going to be the politicians. So no mention of politicians there. Now, the more alarming situation is amongst voters. 55% are yes on the question versus 34% that are no. And when you take a look at the partisan crosstabs, you'll find that 7 in 10 Democrat voters say that they are supporting the measure, and 7 in 10 Republicans are against the measure. There's a lot more undecided with the independent voters. This is a challenge for a couple reasons. Number one, we need to get that Republican number up to like 98%. So there's some Republicans, a couple polls I've seen show, this poll shows about 20%, not quite on the no side yet. And other polls show as much as 30% are not quite on the no side yet. We've got to bring our base home. And I think that will happen. The second thing is we've got to pick up about 65% of independents. Third thing is we've got to keep at least 25%, and my hope is that we can get to 35% of Democrat voters. And I do believe that we can at least keep the 25%. The 35% would be an exceptionally good campaign outcome. But here's where it starts out. It starts out at 55-34. This is amongst voters, okay? Now, just normal, regular, run-of-the-mill respondents, it's 48-32. Not good, but of voters, 55-34. Not particularly exciting to start at this point. They say that if you are below 60%, your measure can be defeated. Our voter ID initiative, by the way, is at 70%. Can't be defeated if it's on the ballot, and we're going to get it on the ballot by collecting 1 million signatures. But if it's below 60%, the vulnerability is there for people to peel off. Now, remember, this is just based on a real quick poll. There's not been, although, a lot of political junkies like you and me have been paying attention to this issue, not a whole lot of Californians have. Contrast that with this poll that doesn't get into, the Independent Redistricting Commission. Or actually, it does get in the Independent Redistricting Commission. This is done by Politico Citron, and this is just 2 weeks ago. Just 36% of respondents back returning congressional redistricting power to state lawmakers, to the politicians. Oh, my, you go from 55% down to 36%. That's not a very promising situation. So the reason why I wanted to share with you this, that 64% supports independent redistricting. Quote, the poll shows independent redistricting enjoys widespread popularity among general public with 64% overall across party affiliations. Independent voters are obviously the most enthusiastic backers of the Independent Redistricting Commission, 72% saying that they favor. But Democrats are equal. 66% of Republicans, 61% of Democrats are compared to 66% of Republicans in favor of the Independent Redistricting Commission. So here's the thing. You have two polls. One showing, hey, should we do what Texas does? 55% yes, with some appalling weakness on the Republican side. When you say, should we let the power go back to the politicians to draw the lines? It's a 2/3 no. Only 36% are willing to even go and entertain that. We can win this fight, and that's where I go back to our campaign page, DefendFairlections.org, DefendFairlections.org. Go to that website, and that's where we have to share the message points, because the message points lay it right out. The first few paragraphs, Newsom and California politicians have called a special election. First, you have to let people know that they have a ballot. There's a special election. Second, Prop 50 ends fair elections, vote no. So first, let people know there's a special election coming up. You're going to get a ballot on or about October 1st. Second, Prop 50 is what is on the ballot. It ends fair elections. Third, vote no. Because a lot of people think a yes means no and a no means yes, because the ballot title is going to be very deceptive. We've got an early picture of what the ballot title will read. Here it is. And this is so disgusting, but no surprise. Adopts temporary congressional maps if Texas or other states redistrict mid-decade. Declares state policy supporting nonpartisan redistricting commissions nationwide. Legislative constitutional amendment. Doesn't say anything about returning the power to the politicians. They are so dishonest. We have got to educate voters ASAP that this is a power grab by the politicians. Their ballot title is dishonest, and we're going to be up against that in this challenge. So I need you to share this website, DefendFairElections.org. The 7 reasons to vote no: ends independent maps, silences voters, undermines democracy, hurts our communities, sets a dangerous precedent, costly, wasteful, and dangerous, and yes, illegal and corrupt. We've got all of the backroom deals of politicians drawing lines in quid pro quo to support the maps if they get a congressional seat for themselves. We also have an answer to Texas. 2 wrongs don't make a right. It's never okay to do gerrymandering and let the politicians manipulate districts. It means politicians pick the voters versus voters picking the politicians. We don't want that at all anywhere. And we shouldn't be destroying our own fairness in elections and destroying our own democracy in California because someone else somewhere else is doing something wrong. That's absurd. That's insanity. And voters get that. We need to mobilize the campaign, and we need you. We have to change these numbers in the polls by making sure we don't make this about Trump, but instead make it about the fundamental fairness of citizens drawing the lines for election maps versus politicians manipulating districts for their own personal and partisan advantage. We make it about that, we win this fight. Chip in a contribution and sign up at DefendFairElections.org. Until next time, I'm Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. But before you click away, please subscribe to this channel and click that notification button so you get updated when we post new episodes. Plus, like this video and share it with your friends so that we can help spread our message across the state. Reform California with Carl DeMaio is paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly.